Hey, leader, I hope that 201 was clarifying to you and also encouraging as always. Let's jump right into 301. It's going to be a short teaching, a short thought. I'm going to zoom in on a couple different uh, kind of by thoughts of conflict resolution. And one is the power of avoidance and the power of confrontation. Now, I say the power of avoidance, it's really the mishaps of avoidance or the power of the error of avoidance. Avoidance, bad, confrontation, good, in the right way, of course. Now, I know not everybody is naturally wired to confront, maybe like somebody like me. If you know the Enneagram, I am your classic 8. Now, of course, I strive to be a healthy 8. And when I confront, it's not just because I want the power, it's because I want to solve, I want to resolve. Okay. So let's talk about avoidance. Avoidance is something that we need to avoid. We must avoid avoidance. What I mean by avoidance is never confronting conflict, never confronting a situation that needs to be resolved, a person that you might need to resolve conflict with. There is no power, there is no good power in avoiding confrontation, avoiding conflict. Okay. We must confront. It's just the way that things move forward. Now, again, disclaimer, there might be some people thinking, no, it's not even worth it. And there might be some minor moments that are just worth not even going to. I understand that. Okay. But outside of those little moments, when you are working alongside somebody and you have conflict, it is so key to confront that conflict so that you can resolve said conflict. Okay. Avoidance, write this down. Avoiding conflict can plateau our relationship's progress. Avoiding conflict can plateau, can stall a relationship's progress. You might be doing really good, your trajectory relationally with somebody, the equity that you have with somebody that you have reciprocally with one another might be doing, really good. And then suddenly there are, some moments of conflict and it doesn't get resolved. And what could be will never happen because we are not willing to confront. We are not willing to go through maybe a momentary mess to resolve said conflict. So the relationship never hits potential because we are now plateaued. Okay. So avoiding conflict can plateau our relationship's progress. Okay. And also, here's another thought. So the second point to avoidance is avoiding conflict could potentially limit your promotion within the organization. And that's just the reality of it. It could potentially limit your promotion within the organization. For me, and in my leadership, in my company, I want to know that I have mature enough leaders serving with me, serving on the team here at Valor, that isn't afraid, or let me say it this way, that is courageous enough to confront and solve problems. Those who get promoted solve the biggest problems. They're not, it's not that they're not scared of problems. I almost said that a moment ago. You can be scared and maybe full of fear and timidity, maybe in certain moments, in certain situations, but the courage allows you to step up. I want to know that the people who work on this team are courageous enough to confront, to resolve the conflict that is necessary to resolve, because I know that I can trust them with more. I can trust them with people. I can trust them with fixing and bringing solutions to the table. And oftentimes that's not always in your software or your systems. Most of the time, your largest problems or the largest conflict is found within relationships. So Again, avoiding conflict could potentially limit your promotion within the organization. However that translates to your context, I want you to translate it as that. Okay, maybe you're not looking for necessarily a promotion, whatever that means to you. Leaders know how to pick up a thought and apply it to them. Okay, so that's avoidance. So let's move on to confrontation. So I could not wait to say this, but I wanted to wait to this section to say confrontation gets a bad rap. Confrontation is not always bad. Okay, it is not always fighting. Confrontation does not equate to fighting with somebody. Confrontation can oftentimes, especially with the right tone and with the right purpose, can be an extremely valuable asset to relationships and to organizations. Confrontation can be a beautiful thing. Okay. Confrontation gets a bad rap. It's not always bad. It is not fighting. That's my first thought. Conflict resolution requires confrontation. You have to confront somebody and not go off on them. That's not the confrontation I'm talking about. You have to confront them, right? Move toward them, open up conversation and say, hey, let's talk. You got to know the right moments to do it, of course, etc. Now, the quicker the better, I would say, generally speaking. But conflict resolution requires confrontation. It should matter that much to us that we're willing to step over fear and inconvenience and apply courage to resolve the conflict that is at hand. Okay. Confrontation. It communicates that we value the relationship and the progress of the organization. Confrontation communicates that we value the relationship and the progress of the organization. I want us to think about that for a minute. I want us to write that down. It communicates, it relays, it speaks that we value the relationship. You love me enough to confront me. It matters. Now, of course, with the right tone, etc. I'm belaboring that point, but I don't feel like I can say it. I also don't feel like I can say it enough. So if you confront me and say, man, and usually you mutually know when there's, as some would say, beef, right, between you or some type of conflict that needs to be resolved. You both know it. So it's the elephant in the room in every setting, and it's uncomfortable. But confrontation, it's inconvenient, but it is so valuable, and it communicates that you value the relationship, not your agenda. That's not what I'm saying. Not conflict resolution. The point of it is not to bring them to your side and convince them to step over to your side. That's not what conflict resolution is about. It's not about your agenda. It's about you mutually resolving the conflict to where it's a win-win. Okay. It might take compromise. You might have your eyes open to see, that maybe you or, we were wrong. But it's just about being in the conversation together and working it out for a mutual benefit. Okay. And again, maybe the mutual benefit is us humbling ourselves and apologizing, and they get an apology and the whole thing moves forward. Okay. We also have to be okay with not getting an apology, okay within ourselves, and still forgiving somebody. That's not my point. We're not necessarily looking for an apology, nor do we always need that. But another thought, another time. Okay. Next, last but not least, confrontation communicates that we have prioritized progress over convenience and comfort. It communicates that you have prioritized progress over convenience and comfort. As I said a couple minutes ago, it's not convenient and it's not really comfortable. That doesn't mean that it is not necessary. Okay. We have a choice to confront and offer progress, relational equity, and change, or we avoid and remain the same and live in regret. We have a choice to confront and offer progress. That's the offering. It is progress. That's the potential. It's progress moving forward. You offer relational equity with one another, and you also are offering change. Or we consistently, continually avoid confrontation, and we remain the same and live in regret. Let's not live in regret, family. Let's confront what we need to confront and resolve what we need to resolve for the greater good. I hope this encouraged you today and brought some light and clarity on confrontation and the power of resolving conflict. God bless you all. We'll see you in the next class.